Welcome to lesson 035 of Online School of Entrepreneurship. I am Dr. Kirian Mfam. In today's lecture, we will dwell on how to become an entrepreneur. Upon completion of this lecture, our audience will be able to 1. Identify profitable startup ideas. 2. Identify and focus on a growing category or categories of viable business. 3. Fill an underserved demand. 4. Create something better or cheaper than what is out there. 5. Validate startup idea by your personal research. 6. Start with a minimum viable product. 7. Create a business plan. 8. Continue to iterate based on feedback. And 9. Find a co-founder. How to become an entrepreneur. 1. Identify profitable startup ideas. A successful startup begins with an idea. You can't build a business without an idea. Here are some creative techniques for thinking of a product or service to deal on. A. Ask your friends what frustrates them. What makes a product or service profitable? It provides a solution for a problem or frustration that people are willing to pay to have alleviated. With that in mind, start by asking your friends what frustrates them. Founders get inspiration from their frustrations all the time. For instance, Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp started Uber after they had trouble getting a cab. Andrew Kotina and Ibrahim Magdon Ismail founded Venmo, which is now acquired by PayPal, after they had trouble paying each other back to check. Chris Rico Bono launched Unstock Kit, a line of shirts that took goods unstocked after getting frustrated with how wrinkly and ill-fitting his regular button-down shirts were when he didn't tuck them in. As you brainstorm, ask your friends to keep track of the day-to-day things that annoy them. Then go through their list and look for problems you might be able to solve. B. Get inspired by other emerging startups. Checking out what other people have come up with can be a great way to kick your own thought process into gear. A constantly updated creation of the newest apps, websites, and games for digital inspiration is Product Hunt. Meanwhile, Kickstarter is great for physical products. There are also a ton of product review sites like Might Spark your creativity. Try Uncreate, Wait, and Wirecutter. C. Identify trends to future-proof your idea. As the world changes, people need different products. As an example, the rise of Uber, Lyft, and other ride-sharing apps created a demand for a third-party app that will tell you the cheapest fares at that exact moment. You want to get ahead of the curve. Read trend predictions from your industry or market, or check out universal trend forecasting publications like Trend Hunter and Springwise. Then ask yourself, if these predictions come true, which tools will be necessary? 2. Identify and focus on a growing category or category of business. Licensing expert and intellectual property strategist Stephen Key recommended picking a category that facilitates you but isn't overly competitive. I avoid industries that are notoriously challenging, like the toy industry. There are so many people creating in that space, he explained. You will have an easier time licensing your ideas if you focus on categories of products and services that are growing as well as receptive to open innovation. After you have picked a category, Stephen Key says you should study all the products in that category. What are each product's benefits? How do they vary? What's their packaging and marketing strategy? What do reviewers say? What are the potential improvements? Once you have picked a product, consider questions like, what can be done to improve it? Can I add a new feature? What about a different material? Can I personalize it somehow? Etc. 3. Fill an underserved demand. You don't need to reinvent the wheel if there aren't enough wheels. Many people start successful businesses after noticing a gap in the market. For example, perhaps you learn there is a shortage of high quality sales outsourcing. Since you have experience in sales development and account management at early stage sales companies, you might decide to offer this service to tech startups. 4. Make something better or cheaper than what's out there. You don't always need to develop something brand new. If you can offer an existing product at a lower price point, better quality, or ideally both, you will have plenty of customers. Better yet, there is clearly an existing demand. As you go out your day, make a list of everything you use. Then review the list for something you could improve. Other suggestions include network with other entrepreneurs. Use Makeup or Eventbrite to find events in the local startup community. Not only will networking with other entrepreneurs help you build valuable relationships, but it will also give you lots of ideas. For some quick tips on how to network efficiently and meaningfully as an entrepreneur. Research patent applications. Patent applications are typically made public after they were filed. Although we don't recommend outright copying any inventions, browsing through these documents can give you a good sense of where a particular space is headed. Have a brainstorming session. If you need to get your creative juices flowing, invite 3 to 5 other entrepreneurial-minded people to a brainstorming session. Ask everyone to come prepared to discuss a certain product, category, or question, such as, what's your favorite type of X and Y? Or, do you use anything to accomplish Y? Why or why not? The answers may lead to some great ideas. 5. Validate your startup idea with buyer personal research. Great, you have got an idea, but don't quit your day job yet. Before you go all in, you need to know other people will actually want your product. No, your friends and family don't count. In order to safely gauge the viability of your product in the market, start by understanding your buyer persona. That is, the real people who plan to sell to. If your product doesn't serve a need, they won't be interested, no matter how innovative or cool it is. That's why buyer persona and market research are so important. Once you have identified your ideal clients, interviewing people who fit the bill should be an important component of your research. Show them a working demo of your product. Ask what they like and what they don't, how much they had paid for it, how often they had used it, and so on. If you want to test the market's interest before building anything, build a landing page that describes your product or service. Ask people to submit their email addresses in exchange for early access, a free subscription, membership, or product, a discount, product update, or some other compelling offer. Then promote the video on social, paid search, etc. and see how many visitors convert to sign-ups. 6. Start with a minimum viable product. A minimum viable product is the simplest, most basic version of your tool or service possible. It's functional enough to satisfy early customers and get a sense of what you should improve. Let's say you want to build an app that will connect college students with virtual tutors. You might create a bare bones version, manually invite 150 tutors to found online to join, and then post the link to the app on the local university's Facebook page. If you get a decent number of sign-ups, that's a sign you should move forward. If you get barely any, you should either rethink the idea or start afresh. Starting small with a minimum viable product keeps your cost low to start but allows room for growth as the product continues to be validated. 7. Create a business plan. A business plan is a formalized document that details your business goals and the steps you will take to achieve them. This may include marketing strategy, budget, and financial projections and milestones. As an entrepreneur, your job is to set your company's mission, vision, and long-term and short-term goals. As you do this kind of strategic planning for your venture, the business plan is an output of your work and helps to guide the growth of your startup. 8. Continue to iterate based on feedback. Keep in mind that your minimum product will not likely be enough to stay competitive in the market categories you choose, especially if you have big dreams for your startup. Now comes the circle: generating interest and demand, marketing the product, securing customers, selling the product, gauging satisfaction, improving and product based on feedback, and repeat. Optimizing all parts of this flywheel generates the revenue needed to invest in product, and investing in product generates additional interest from satisfied customers, creating word of mouth referrals, and more competitive offerings that attract new customers. 9. Find a co-founder. Conventional wisdom says you should look for a co-founder when starting a new business. There are 3 main advantages to having a co-founder. 1. It's easier to get funding. 2. You have emotional support. And 3. They can provide different skills, knowledge, and connections. But there are also drawbacks to having a co-founder. 1. They can be conflict. 2. You will have to split the equity or profit. 3. Finding one can be difficult. In the course of this lecture, and in line with our instructional objectives, we were able to achieve the objectives as stated earlier. Please support us by 1. Following us on our Facebook page, Online School of Entrepreneurship. 2. Subscribing to our YouTube channel, Entrepreneurship Teacher. And 3. Liking, commenting, and sharing our post. Thank you, and see you in our next lecture.